Hi, and welcome to episode 89 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me today. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. This is a podcast all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. You can find me online on Instagram at Noble Character Crafts, and you can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am currently hosting a make-along over on Instagram, which is called the Make 9 2020 Mal. And that is for you to join in on the Make 9 challenge, where you choose 9 patterns that you would like to make within the year of 2020 and make a grid showing those 9 patterns and post it on Instagram with the hashtag Make 9 2020 Mal. And that will enter you into this make along. And all crafts are included with this make along. So any kind of project that you would like to make is certainly welcome. WIPs are also allowed, so if you have some outstanding works in progress that you would like to get back to and finish up within this year, go ahead and include those. And it's not too late, even though we're already into March, well into March. You can still start now because we have all year to work on this make-along. And there is no requirement for finishing all of them or any of them. It's just a fun way to show which projects you would like to work on this year, and then for us to all encourage one another as we try to make those 9 particular things. But again, you do not need to finish all or any of them. It's just you can just post a picture whenever you are working on any of those projects. And, progress pictures are another way to enter into this make-along, as well as finished object pictures. So please feel free to join in if you would like. Nowadays, we all are having maybe a little bit more time at home to work on projects. So maybe you are finding yourself in a position where you will have more making time than you had thought you would, and it would work out for you to make a list of 9 things that you would like to make this year. So again, I would like anybody to join in that would like to. I'd love to see what projects you would like to work on this year. And speaking of the Make 9 2020 Mal, I received a gift in the mail for that make along, and I want to show that off. I'm not going to be giving it away right now. In fact, I think I'm going to be keeping this particular gift until the end of the year because I think it's so special, and I really want to save it up for a grand prize at the end. But I received a handmade bag from Trisha of Joy in the Stitches. Here is her business card, which is beautiful. And I received this beautiful project bag that she made. I really love this fabric and this color. It's so pretty. It's got a boxed bottom, and it's got this beautiful fabric at the bottom too, which is a little bit heavier, more sturdy fabric. It's got a zipper front, or top I mean, and then on the inside there's a coordinating, also beautiful fabric. And just the craftsmanship is so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. So it can kind of open up like that. So it's a beautiful size. It'd easily fit a couple of skeins of yarn, and it would make a great project bag for any project that you might have. So stay tuned and continue to enter into the make-along so that you can be eligible to win this beautiful bag. Like I said, I'm going to save it, I think, until the end of the year to give it away then. Thank you so much, Trisha. She also sent me a project bag for my personal use, and I've already got it in use, so I will show that off when I get to that work in progress. So thank you so much, Trisha. I can't express to you how grateful I am for you being willing to send me a prize to give away with this make along. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm so grateful for your generosity. Today I am wearing my Stoneham Poncho, which I made into a sweater by adding sleeves to it. This is a beautiful design by Dianna WALLA that I modified, and just after I was done with the yoke, basically I just split for sleeves and then knit straight down for the body. And the sleeves I also just knit straight and then did some ribbing down at the bottom. I think I decreased before the ribbing just to cinch in the sleeves a little bit, but it was a really easy modification, and I really enjoy this sweater a lot. I knit it using my own hand-dyed yarn. The main color is my Night colorway, which is just a solid black color. And then the two contrast colors are, the purple is called Gaze, and then the white speckled is called Sweetness. So I really enjoy this cardigan, and today we got snow here in Nebraska again. And so it's really super cold. In fact, I like to, at the beginning of each video, you have seen that I like to take videos of some of the scenery around our home. And in the winter time, my iPad, which I use for recording, cannot take the cold, and so it shuts down after a few minutes. I try to keep it warm inside my coat when I'm not recording, but when I have it out in the cold, it doesn't last long. And today it didn't. It shut down after not even 10 minutes of recording snippets. So I think I need to knit a little cozy for my iPad so that it can stay warm when I'm trying to record things outside. But anyway, that was just evidence of how freezing cold it is today. I don't know, I didn't see how cold it was early this morning when I was recording, but it was very cold. The wind was quite strong and bitterly cold. So anyway, even though today is, I think, technically the first day of spring, it doesn't feel like it here in Nebraska anyway. But that's okay. I love winter, so I really can't complain. But usually by this time of the year, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of ready for some warmer temperatures, but that's all right. More opportunities to wear my sweater, so I'm happy about that. I do have a finished object to share with you all, but it has already been in use for a little over a week. So before I handed that off to the recipient, I recorded a little snippet of, a video showing that object. So I will insert that here. I was able to finish a super quick project for my 7-year-old son. These adorable little socks I was able to knit up in just a couple of days after I finished my daughter's other pair of socks that I showed off on the last episode. He asked for a pair of socks for him, which he is the only child that I have not knit a pair of socks for. I made a larger pair that fit my 2 oldest sons, but they don't really wear them very often, and they're pretty hard on socks, so I'm not keen to make them a lot of socks. And then I've made a couple of pairs of socks for my daughter. I made a pair of tube socks for my youngest son, who is now 6. He also does not wear those very often, but my 7-year-old, I've never made him any socks. So when he asked, I, of course, said yes. So I used just one skein of Knit Picks Felici in the Mint Chip colorway. And as you can see, the stripes are going in opposite order. So I pulled from the inside and the outside of the skein to make these. Knit them 2 at a time as per usual for me. I knit them on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I cast on 48 stitches and did ribbing in 2x2 ribbing for 2 stripes. I just changed once the color stripe changed to a 3x1 rib for the remainder of the sock. I did a heel flap and gusset using a mini that I received in the Christmas Advent swaps that I did. This one was from Tiffany of the Woolen Homestead, and this is in their Dove colorway. So just a nice light gray that I thought coordinated really well. And then I just did a rounded toe. And yeah, these were super fast. It was so enjoyable to work on them, and they just knit up so quickly. And my son is so anxious to wear these, so I wanted to quickly record this little snippet to include in my next episode because he is so anxious to wear these. He keeps asking if he can wear them, and I know I might not ever see them again in this pristine condition after he starts wearing them. So I wanted to quickly record this so that you all could see this finished object I was able to make, and I'm super happy with them, and he is too. He chose this colorway out of my stash because he is a dinosaur fan. He loves dinosaurs, and he said that these were dinosaur colors, so that's why he chose this color, which was perfect because I have a few random skeins of Knit Picks Felici with only one of each color, which is strange because I need 2 to knit socks for myself anyway, so usually I order 2. I think maybe the first time I ever ordered Felici, I only ordered one because I wasn't as, it was probably before I was a huge sock knitter. And so I just ordered one skein, not realizing that I would need two to make socks that are large enough for me. So anyway, I have a few random skeins that are only one, but that was perfect for socks for him. So super happy with how these turned out, and he loves them and cannot wait to wear them. So well, my son has really loved those socks. They've already been through the wash at least 2 or 3 times, and they fit him really well and he loves them. So I'm so happy about that, and maybe I will make him some more socks as well. So we will see. Okay, on to my works in progress. I moved my first work in progress into this Tanny Casey project bag, which I love. And I don't think I've used for a long time, this particular one. It's got just this beautiful corduroy fabric on it. And I also have some enamel pins on there from the ladies of Nice and Knit. Just this cute knitted sweater and hat pin. And I moved my Rauli shawl that I'm working on, which is a beautiful pattern by Amelie, to this bag because I had been keeping it in a little basket, and a couple of times the yarn snagged on the parts of the basket. So it's a full-on brioche project, and that was making me really nervous. So I moved it to this project bag where it will be a little safer. So this is a project that I am knitting for a friend that I go to church with. Well, I used to go to church with her. Who knows when we will meet again? No, but I know we will. And it will be all the sweeter once we do get to meet again. But anyway, here is a progress keeper marking where I was last time I recorded an episode. So I haven't made a ton of progress on this. Once again, I have mentioned many a time that this is a slow growing project, but I actually haven't worked on it in about a week. But before that, I was trying to work on it pretty consistently, but I've gotten distracted since then. But anyway, it is a beautiful, beautiful design that I am just in awe of how this has formed. And I'm really, really happy with how it's turning out, but it's going to take me a while. I am using the recommended needle size, which are US 6 4mm needles. All of the needles that I use are ChowGoo needles. And the yarn that I'm using is, again, my night colorway, so same as what I'm wearing on this sweater. But this is on my fingering weight pitter patter base, which is a 75/25 merino wool nylon blend yarn. And the contrast color is my Honest colorway, which has kind of a tan base, and then it's speckled with deep plum and brown, which kind of breaks into oranges and blues as well. And just to mention, I do not dye yarn anymore, so just to clarify that, but of course I still will be using my own hand-dyed yarn for projects. Let's see. Yeah, it does take a bit of concentration, as I've mentioned before, but I really am enjoying it when I do work on it. But like I said, I've been distracted this week. But anyway, I'm really happy with it so far. It may take me a few more months to finish, but that's okay. Here's the back side, which is also beautiful. So I'm not yet to the halfway point, so it's still continuing to grow in width, and then it will be a symmetrical shape that kind of is similar to like a football shape, I guess, an American football. I am just gonna continue to plug away on this. My next work in progress is another gift knit that I am making for my friend Tina. Hi Tina, I miss you. This is the Nightshift Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And this has been I just continue to love this project so much. It is really just it's really a mindless knit. It is mosaic knitting, but it's so simple to follow and figure out where you're at in the pattern. And I'm to the point now where I have finished the written pattern and I am making it larger than the pattern is written. However, I'm using different yarn, and so instead of using a worsted weight yarn, I'm using 2 strands of fingering weight yarn held together, which makes more of like a DK weight yarn. So once I finished the written pattern, it was much smaller than the original. So I don't know that I'm making it larger than the original, but I'm continuing with the pattern so that it will be larger. Does that make sense? So anyway, like I said, I'm just holding 2 strands of fingering weight together for the different color stripes. And I'm really, really enjoying this project. So you can kind of see that I have a bunch of different yarns that I pulled together for this project, and then I'm just kind of putting 2 like colors together, and for the mosaic part I'm choosing 2 more colors that would be more of a contrast to that background color, so that I can, so I can get still kind of the same effect of the original pattern was written to be made with hand spun yarn, or spin cycle, which is made to look like hand spun. Anyway, I love it. I think it is so gorgeous. And like I said, it's just such a comforting thing to work on. It's really been kind of a prayer shawl for me that I've just been able to work on and pray while I'm making it, because I don't have to really think about what I'm doing. I can just, have more thoughtful thoughts while I'm working on this. There is a progress keeper marking where I was last time I recorded. And of course the rows are getting much longer now, so it does take a bit longer to make as much progress on this, but still that's a whole section in the written pattern. That's a whole section. And the stitch marker, or the progress keeper there, is basically marking where the written pattern stopped. And so this is where I've continued on with just following the same pattern. Once you get going, it's pretty easy to see the pattern of how it's repeating. And I'm enjoying it so much. I really have enjoyed mixing and matching the different colors and seeing how 2 different colors work together. So I'm really enjoying it a lot. And I am again using the recommended needle size for these, even though I'm using different yarn weight. These are US 8 5mm needles. And the fabric is still a really nice, thick, squishy fabric. So I really like how that is turning out. I'm not sure how many more repeats I will do for this to get it to be big enough, but like I've mentioned before, I really want it to be plenty big so that it's easy to wear without slipping off over the shoulders. So I will continue working on this for quite a while probably. I have plenty of yarn. I know that I have more than enough yarn pulled aside for this project, so I'm not worried about that at all. And I'm just enjoying it so much. My next work in progress is my crochet project that I have to share with you. And it is a scrappy blanket that I am making using my scraps of worsted weight cotton yarn that I have had left over from dishcloths that I have made. And last time I showed this to you, I had 5 rows completed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've added 3 more rows here to the bottom. I am just doing a simple granny square. As you probably most of you already know how to make a granny square, but you just start off with 4 clusters, and in each cluster are 3 double crochets, US terms, and then in each corner I chain 2. And then I just repeat that around, doing a cluster of 3 double crochets all the way around, and then in each corner a cluster, chain 2, and another cluster. So I'm doing 2 rounds using up my scraps. And then for the 3rd round, I'm using a Lily Sugar and Cream yarn in the ecru colorway, and I am joining my squares as I go. I'm using a US H 5mm hook. This is a boy hook that was put out by the Crochet Dude. And I'm pretty sure I have decided to make this large enough to have as a throw for our home. So it will be more of a long-term project. I had debated whether I would make it a baby blanket size to gift to someone, but I have decided that I really want to keep it for our family. So I'm excited to do that. Also, I think that with this kind of a project, I'm not really sure how the cotton will hold up as far as like through washing and stuff. And then also there's lots of ends that I crochet over as I go. But with cotton, I don't feel like it holds as well. And so quite a few times as I'm working on it, I'll see another little end that has poked out that I know that I can just trim because I know it's secure. But if I gave it as a gift, I think that maybe the recipient wouldn't know how to care for it so well, and there'd be all these little loose ends that they might be afraid to cut off, or I don't know. I'm just not really sure if it would hold up as well. I've never made a cotton blanket before, and so I don't really know how it will work. If anybody has, I'd love to hear your input on what your thoughts are with that. But anyway, besides that, I just really, really love it and I want to keep it. So that's what I have decided to do, is just keep it and make it, I don't know how big, but big enough to have as a throw to have around our home. So I'm excited about that. My next two works in progress are new cast-ons. The first is a sock project that I am keeping in this cute little sock-sized bag that I received in a swap 2 Christmases ago. And this is a test knit that I am doing for Kay, who is the Crazy Sock Lady. She has Crazy Sock Lady Designs and then also has the Crazy Sock Lady podcast, which I highly recommend. She's such a joy to watch, and I thoroughly enjoy all of her patterns, especially her sock patterns, though she has tons of other beautiful patterns as well, fingerless mitts and cowls and shawls. So I am test knitting a new sock design for her, which is called the Scrappy Socks. And I received this specific sock kit for this pattern from Vista Dyeworks. And this is in her Spring Rainbow colorway. I am knitting these concurrently. If you've watched before, you know that I generally like to knit my socks 2 at a time on one set of needles. But with this project, since you can probably see, it has 2 different colorways that are striped. And so therefore I had 4 different cakes of yarn that I was trying to manage. I actually started these off as two at a time for the cuffs, but then once I got to the main body of the sock where I was having to put in the extra color, I split them onto 2 separate needles because it was just a tangled mess otherwise. So here are the little cakes that I have. This is a self-striping yarn from Vista Dyeworks, and it just has a beautiful light springy rainbow of colors, which I've loved working with. And then the other color is just an undyed natural colored yarn. These are both fingering weight on a sock base of 75-25 merino nylon blend. I am using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I am making the medium size, which is 64 stitches. The ribbing was 2x2 for 20 rows. And they are knit top down, as you can plainly see. And then the beautiful pattern is a slipped stitch type pattern. And so it really gives this neat texture. And on the back, it's just plain stockinette. So you can kind of see how the colors are working up together. And I just love them so much. There is a slip stitch heel flap and gusset that you use the natural color for. And yeah, I'm just working on the foot portion of the socks now. So it is a 4-row repeat, and what I've been doing is just knitting 1 or 2 repeats on one sock and then doing the same on the second sock so that I can keep them at the same point, just because that's how I enjoy making socks. I don't like getting one ahead of the other too much. So I did have a bit of difficulty in keeping my stitches loose enough on the starting point of each round. And I was having a bit of, the sock was like kind of gathering up on one side, But after I finished with the gusset decreases, I went ahead and blocked them to see if that would even out after blocking, and it really did. It was no problem at all once I got them blocked, and I just kind of gave them a little pull on the one side where they were kind of snugging up, and that fixed it so beautifully. They are laying nice and flat now, so I think it's just because it is a slip stitch pattern that kind of can tend to pull a little bit more. I'm so thankful that it was easily blocked. It blocked out so beautifully. So when this pattern does come out, which I think will probably be at the beginning of April, if you choose to knit this pattern, which I highly recommend, it's so fun. Just keep that in mind, that if you do have any tension issues, I think it would block out beautifully for you as well. Now, this sock again is called the Scrappy Socks, and so it's also intended you can use it with self-striping yarn, or you can use it with scraps. So that's another awesome option that Kay has designed for this sock, that it can easily be used with a bunch of scraps of yarn as well. So that would be so fun to see how many different color combinations people will come up with for this design. So it's so beautiful, and I am enjoying this project so much. My last work in progress is in my new beautiful project bag from Trisha of Joy in the Stitches. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it so much. Oh my goodness. Can you see the goldish? There's like gold in the fabric that is highlighting each of the butterflies. And then she has a gold zipper too, so it's all coordinated. I love it so much. I love this fabric as well. It is the same as the other project bag that I showed you, that it's kind of a tweedy looking fabric. It's so nice. I love it. And then inside is this beautiful fabric for the lining that I probably won't be able to show you very well, because like I said, I've already got it stuffed full of yarn. But in here, well, you can't see it as well, but it's this beautiful fabric that has little woodland creatures. Okay, there you can see some little squirrels. And here's an owl. Oh, it's so cute. It's just like a woodland. Oh, here's a deer. Can I get that on there? I don't know. Yeah, there's a deer. I just love it. I think it's so special. And she made this cute little notions pouch that is matching. Isn't it adorable? It's just the perfect size too for all the little things that I need. So if it still could hold a ton of stuff. I have in here a tape measure, lotion, a pen even fits in there without any problem. A crochet hook, stitch markers. It's perfect. So I'm so grateful for this. I'm so thankful for you gifting this to me, Trisha. Thank you so much. And I put it to use immediately. It came in the mail, and that was the same day that I was just starting to swatch for this new project. And I just put the yarn that I needed in it, the needles I was trying out, and everything, and got it all set to use right away. So I'm so excited about that. I am doing another test knit for a designer that I've never tested for before, but one that I have admired for a while. I watch her podcast as well, which is the Yarn Flakes podcast, and I also highly recommend that podcast as well. She is based out of France and just comes up with so many beautiful designs that I've really admired for a while. Her name is Audrey Borrego, and the pattern, I don't have a picture of it on this pattern, but it is a top-down crew neck, and then it has some cable detailing along the raglan and creases, and along the side seams, and along the ribbing at the bottom and the cuffs of the sleeves. It's made in fingering weight yarn, and like I said, knit from the top down, and it's long sleeves and kind of a cropped style. So I really like that style of having more of a cropped sweater, and yeah, so I'm super excited about this. I got some yarn in the mail from Knit Picks. It was on sale. It is Knit Picks Stroll in the Midnight Heather colorway, which looks almost black, but actually it's just the deepest teal. It is so beautiful if you can see it up close. yeah, that's showing pretty well. So you can see that it's kind of a blue and a green marled together. I really, really enjoy Knit Picks heathered yarns because they have a lot of beautiful variegation in the yarn, and there's always so many more colors than what you see from far away. If you look close, there's, you know, just a beautiful blending of different colors. So this is a bit darker than I thought it would be when I got it in person, but I really, really love it. So I'm super excited about this. So pretty. I have just started this. I had been swatching and I wanted to make a pretty good size swatch because I wanted to make sure it was accurate. The gauge for this sweater is 26 stitches to 4 inches. I want to double check that though. Oh, I'm sorry. The pattern name is called, well, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Centaurea? Centaurea? Centaurea. That would be my guess, but I should look that up because I could probably figure it out if I looked it up. Yes, 26 stitches to 4 inches. I had to go down a needle size to get gauge, so I am using a US 3.25 millimeter needle for the main body of the sweater, and then the ribbing I'll probably go down to a 2. But yeah, I just started this. I've only done a few rows starting, it starts at the back neckline, and it's knit flat just for a few rows, I think just for the, you know, for the back shaping, and then it will join in the round pretty soon. So anyway, not much to show you here, but it is started, so hopefully I will be able to make some progress on that. But as you can see, this is 5 works in progress that I've shown you, and that's not all, because I am, like I've mentioned before, working on one of my other scrappy blankets, my other scrappy hexagon blanket, and I've got a dishcloth started that I'm not going to show you, and I'm also working on another scrappy Afghan, the excavation, but I'm just not showing those off right now because I just haven't made a ton of progress on them. But I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by all the projects that I have in the works. So I don't know. It's not like me. I normally don't have so many projects on the go at one time. So I probably should finish up. I'm not going to be casting on anything new or starting anything new until I finish a few more things, I hope. We'll see though. We'll see how I do. Yeah, so that's all of the projects that I have to share with you all, but I did want to share a few more things in light of what is going on with all of us being at home more, and a lot of people being anxious and a bit scared about how this coronavirus is being spread around the world, and how, you know, it's just a bit nerve-wracking for some people. So I just wanted to share a few podcasts that I really enjoy watching. More people will probably have opportunities to watch more podcasts in the upcoming weeks. And so I wanted to share a few. I've been wanting to share, I really enjoy it when other podcasters share the podcasts that they enjoy watching. And I keep meaning to do that, and then I forget, and I get done recording and I'm like, oh, I forgot to share that again. And I keep doing that week after week. So I really wanted to be more intentional and try to share a few of my favorites, although I have so many. So I could share a few podcasts that I enjoy every week. I would not run out of podcasts to share probably for quite a while, because I really enjoy quite a few different podcasts, knitting podcasts specifically. But I wanted to share a few of my favorites. The first is A Lovely Yarn by Amber, and she is based out of the New England area here in the United States. And she is just a really calming person, very sweet and enjoyable to watch. The projects that she makes are just really beautiful. She's also a homeschooling mom, so I can relate to her in that way. I think we're the same age too, Amber. And so anyway, I really, really enjoy her podcast, and I highly recommend that. If you would like to check her out, I highly recommend it. The second one that I want to share is Anna Knitter, and she is a knitter and a crocheter based out of Austria. I think she's originally from Germany, but she is living in Austria, and she is such an enjoyable person to watch. I really enjoy her personality and her energy. She is a school teacher, And she has a sweet little dog that she shares on her podcast as well. And right now she has been doing daily vlog / mini podcasts. She has titled it something about we're not alone in this period of life right now. So that's been really fun to watch those, and it has been really encouraging to watch those as well. So I also recommend her podcast. She loves working on blankets, which I love working on blankets as well, and I really enjoy seeing other people's projects of blankets that they're making. So she's a really fun one to watch as well. And the third one that I would like to share is the Autumn Acorn. That is Judy, and she lives in this gorgeous log cabin set back in the woods. The last time she recorded an episode, she was positioned so that you could see out her window, and it was snowy outside, and there were these beautiful evergreens covered in snow, and she's in her cozy log cabin, and it's so enjoyable to watch her episodes as well. She's another one that is just so calming, and she seems like such a sweet person, and I really enjoy her podcast as well. So those are 3 of the podcasts that I really enjoy and recommend to you all, so I hope that you enjoy those. And then finally, I just wanted to share a bit of encouragement from Scripture. If you do not know, I am a Christian, and that is such a huge, important part of my life. And I find so much comfort in God's Word, and I just wanted to share a bit of encouragement from Scripture with you all. One of my most favorite passages is from Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, and I continually come back to this verse whenever I am feeling anxious about anything. And now with what's going on, it is so easy to get anxious and worried about what's going on. And so I just think that this verse is such an encouragement. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." And on to verse 7, it says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." And so I just think that is such a comfort. You know, this has been such a surprise to all of us, but it was not a surprise to the Lord. He has known about this virus and that it was going to happen for all of eternity, and He has given us His word as an encouragement that we can just present our requests to Him, and we don't have to keep that burden of anxiety, but we can just lay it down at His feet, and He promises us the peace that only can come from Him, that surpasses understanding. And that's what we need now, is peace from Him, which He, of course, is the one that can give it to us ultimately. That's the only place where we can find true peace. So I am just so grateful for that verse and how encouraging it is. And then also in Luke chapter 12, there's a whole section in Luke chapter 12 that talks about do not worry. And there's one specific passage from verses 22 to 26, which says that Jesus said to His disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn. Yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable are you than birds? Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" And it goes on to talk more about how we have no reason to worry. And I know so many people are out of work right now and having kids at home, and they're not used to that. And having to juggle so many things that we're not used to. And it can be easy not only to worry about this virus, but then to worry about our finances and to worry about, will we be able to provide for our family? And that is so easy to worry about. But again, if we just consider the birds, they're out. I take these videos and they're just outside singing, and it's so beautiful to listen to them and just watch them working and finding food around, and they never worry, and they're always provided for. And it's such a comfort to just look at nature and see how God provides for His creatures, and how much more beloved are we than the birds. And it's such a comfort to remember that truth. So I hope that is an encouragement to you all. I hope that you all are very well. We have done really well. We, are pretty much used to this lifestyle. There's been a few things that have been canceled. For example, church. We don't get to go to church anymore, at least last week, and again, probably for the next few weeks coming up. And my daughter is in ballet, and that has been canceled, and a few dentist appointments were canceled, things like that. But typically, this is our normal. We stay home. I homeschool our kids, and we don't actually go out of the house very often. So this isn't really abnormal for us. It's pretty easy for us to adapt. We haven't had to change a whole lot. And if this is new to you, I would just encourage you to try to set up a routine for your life. If you have young children like I do, our children are ages 6 to 11. And so if you do have school-aged kids that are home, that you're not used to them being home, what has worked for me is just to have a continual routine, at least Monday through Friday. We have a very strict routine of getting up early in the morning, getting dressed, getting ready for our day, and doing our schoolwork from about 8 a.m. until noon. And then we have lunch, and in the afternoon, the kids have time to play. I make them go outside for at least an hour every afternoon just to get some fresh air. And then we just relax in the afternoons, maybe play games and maybe watch a family movie together, things like that. So if this is new to you and it's a bit stressful for you to be at home and having this new routine, maybe just setting up a strict routine and sticking to that day by day, it at least brings a bit of comfort to me. And I really think that most children thrive on routine. And so I would encourage you to set that up and kind of try to keep to a routine if you haven't yet. So anyway, I don't know if you can hear it, but my children right now are being very noisy downstairs. And so I'm going to go check to see what they are up to. And I hope that you all have a great couple of weeks ahead. I hope you are all doing well, and I wish you the very best. Take care. Bye-bye.